YouTube, continuing to clear the backlog. This is my pal Dava's Fender Puma. I quite like some of these ideas. This idea of just like, I think it was originally meant to be something else. And this is as a Mexican. Serial number starts M, means it's a Mexican, doesn't it? Yeah, so this is like, I think this has been modded to have things on it it shouldn't have on it. I think this might have been like a humbucker, and I don't think it had the rhythm circuit in it before. It's been, it's actually quite a really nice looking brass roller bridge on it, and it's got a jag trem, which I'm not sure that this model would have originally had, and it's got jazzmastery looking pickups, so sort of. I don't think jazzmasters aren't humbuckers, are they? So these are kind of like, it's almost like your P-bass arrangement. He has, the guy does like, he likes putting the neck pickup, the bridge pickup in the neck, because it's more powerful for sustain, which tends to make the bridge pickup quite quiet compared to, not judging, but what I'd really would like to do is definitely, next time you're changing strings on this thing, just put some more foam in and get the bridge pickup up a bit higher. It's too far away from the strings, it's why it's quiet. So it's basically a neck pickup guitar, this one. Bridge pickup does work, it's just, it's very far away from the strings sounding. That's the sound you're after, it totally does it. Yeah, so serial number MZ10, a 2010 Jazzmaster, I think. I assume it's the 25.5 inch scale one. That's the difference between a Jaguar and a Jazzmaster, isn't it? So it's the Jazzmaster, so it's full scale. These guitars are big. Jazzmasters. Jaguars don't seem so big, even though they've got the same body because they've got a shorter neck. I think you generally tend to find it's like quite tall people that like these because they seem a bit more normal. It's kind of actually, okay, this is a mini bass, but there you go. So it's the same kind of size as a 30-inch bass. So yes, big. I do feel a little bit big when I'm playing that wee bass, has to be said. Yeah, so both pickups, as you hear the neck pickup much louder because it's more powerful and it's closer to the strings. And what this basically I was just wiring this up. So we've got two rollers, got a volume and a tone. So when you put it onto that, it goes on to, it bypasses this switch, and this volume control doesn't do anything. I was just checking, make sure you turned it off. So bypasses there, and that's a tone. Bit of a shit pot. That'll be the tone at full, and then you got a volume there. Pot's a bit shit. I'm going to fill that with contact cleaner. I might go back into this and raise this pickup up. It's doing my head in, it's so quiet. But mind you, you don't really need to have the guitar at full bung all the time. Temptation is to have the neck one on super jazzy, all the tones off, so you can switch into your no in tune yet, but there we go. The strings aren't particularly new on this guitar. Bit like Holy Smoke, Iron Maiden. I mean, I kind of like the idea of making things a little bit different. I'm not sure what it was meant to do to make it a Puma. I think this might have had several different scratch plates and modifications through the years. I think the stickers might actually, maybe not this guitar, I think it's his SG, put stickers on it to cover up the dents. Fair enough. I've actually got a bass, stag bass. It's a really nice purple colour, but it's got a really annoying scratch right there, and it's like, can't be bothered painting it. Just sell it, and it's just like, just stick a sticker of your choice over the big, really annoying scratch on the surface. That's it, sorted. But excellent. This has been had some modifications done here. It looks like this neck might have been off or from, I don't know if it'd be from something else. As is, of course. I mean, I don't think, I couldn't tell you this isn't a Strat neck. I don't really know enough about Jazzmasters to know whether the neck's very different. Oh, well, I know they not have like binding and block inlays, but this would be a slightly different model anyway. So it could actually be a Strat neck stuck on this. Don't know enough of the difference. But Jazzmasters are funny ones. You don't tend to see very many sort of 70s, 80s Japanese ones, which is pretty much why I don't have one. You know, you have to pay for one of these. You know, you have to, I don't know, 500 quid or something to get like a Mexican Jazzmaster, and it's like, that's a bit more than I like to pay for a guitar. So they're just ones that don't really sit. I was just about to say rock on, but memory ran out again. I might actually, seeing as I'm now going to have to edit this, put it into the edit machine to chop it up, I might actually put a little bit of the new the new fun, the Skilletrix thing. Me and Scott went a bit mental for it the other day, and I was up till 4 in the morning last night looking up shit on eBay. Rather than just looking up guitars all the time, you can look up Skilletrix as well. I didn't buy any, but just have a wee look and see what's kicking about. You know, looking up what's digital track. Oh, you can change lane, can you? Oh, but you need a digital car. It's good. Interesting. I mean, my offer does kind of stand. It's like Skilletrix sets aren't that much money, so it's like a small amount of wiring for a couple of cars. What was it we're really after? I want a Ferrari 308. That is a really good sounding bridge pickup, though. I want it to be higher. I think that might have to be done before I give this back. I wasn't asked to do it. It does kind of sound different. It sounds like what I'd imagine a jazzmaster should sound like. There's a strange string tension thing going on because of this bit. So this, I think pretty sure this is 10s. That's why I haven't put strings on, because I've only got 9s. But the tension's the same, but they bend more because the string's that much longer. I think there's just less, even though it's at the same tension. When you bend it, it stretches. Obviously, the whole string stretches a bit. I think that added extra 6 inches of stretch just makes it very bendy. The Dave Gilmour bend I never do, because I never think my guitar's going to stay in tune. Like that. Yeah, so the old thing when you turn off the volume and the guitar doesn't go off, oh no, I wired it wrong. No, that's what this switch does, because that switch defeats that volume. Meant to do that. Yeah, so live stream back on Sunday. We were going to be playing in the Clutha Vaults, but it kind of didn't work out good enough for me to get some gigs after the end Sabbath band. It was just turning out to be, there was an awful lot of having to take our own amps and all that for a 25-minute. I need to go to the Clutha Vaults again. I do remember playing in there about 25 years ago, and because I still got an empty bottle of vodka kicking about in a box, because we won, me and my pals played Atom Heart Mother by Pink Floyd in an acoustic jam. Well, like, I seem to remember, I think I was playing congas or bongos. There was congas and bongos. There was like a synthesizer, a Gen mono synth, bass, couple of guitars, and I was sort of in a band that used to play Atom Heart Mother, so just played that. Good place. Good amounts. This is pre-helicopter crash, clearly. Yeah, so rock on, and because I've edited this, there might be a wee 30-second Skilletrix trick at the end. Just see how long the Skilletrix things last. Yeah, just looking it up. I kind of got my eyes set on I kind of want a police car with flashing blue lights on it now, because we've got the Starsky and Hutch one with the red Ford, is it Gran Torino? Whatever it is, the red car with a white stripe on it. It's got a flashing red light in the roof, which I would rather was blue, but it's red, and it's quite cool because and gradually through the night, we and Scott were playing. We were up till 5 in the morning playing this, just like, and it's like, see the fact that we had a few cars, like half a dozen or something. It makes it made a huge difference, because you crash one and you can put it on the track. to get around, and you just get a shot of another one. And it's amazing how they all handle slightly differently, and they kind of seem to handle a bit like the way they look, like the Starsky and Hutch car, the red one with a stripe on it. It's kind of like a big boat, but it's like, if you imagine the actual cars, like, you know, it's like a V8, it's got hundreds of power, but it's kind of late on it, that swings the arse out. It totally does that. Whereas like the smaller cars, like we've got a couple of wee Peugeot 306s or 309s or whatever they are, wee rally car things, which have got like a thing in it which makes them sound a bit more like an engine, like a mechanical, like it must be a wee clippy thing that the motor rubs against. It kind of it sounds a bit like a car. Those things are handle exactly you think. They stick to the corners, and then there's a few of the ones we've got that kind of they bank out. It's bizarre. And you get the sort of more modern ones, like there's an Audi TT, which has got magnets and expensive lights and stuff, and it pure sticks to the track. It's like there's a definite fun to be had. I think I'm going for the record. I think we did it the right way, because you keep looking at bits and you go, that's a really cool car. And the cars are the cheapest you're going to get one that really works is about 15 quid delivered, I think. And that's going to be a car that came in a set, you know, like came with track, like the wee Minis or the Mini Coopers or the Mini Metros or something like that are the cheapest way to get. And you maybe get a pair of them for sort of 25 quid, 30 quid. And then there's a huge amount between sort of going from the sort of more basic-y looking ones at 20 quid. This is used, and the sky's kind of the limit. Once you start getting up between sort of 20 quid, you get a sort of more basic-y ones, and then once you get to sort of 30 to 40 quid, you start getting ones that just look more expensive. You know, they've just got more bits stuck to them and all that. And then once you get up to 50 quid, you start getting film star cars. There's a Knight Rider, and what's there also the DeLorean. There's an actual set that someone's selling for 80 quid, which is Back to the Future versus Knight Rider. So you've got like the DeLorean with all the time portal shit stuck to it, and a kit to race against. So that can be fun. Anyhow, enough talking about Scalextrics. I do have one set up through next door. So we ended up being Scott. Well, he paid a $5 for a set that we and then we didn't have a working car. Couldn't get my car to work, and then fuck it, and just ended up. We saw the not guitar safari yesterday. We just drove to Bears Den and bought a big box for 50 quid, which came with half a dozen cars. And basically, I've got quite a big set set up next door. Scott's got a massive set up. I've got 2 cars just now. He's got the other 5 or 6 or whatever it is, and enough bits to make 2 quite big, much bigger than the ones I used to have as a kid. You know, the actual. I'm not talking about, you know, your figure of 8. Boring. Both the ones we've got set up are 1.5 times that. I think we've maybe got 4 sets between the two of us, something like that. You know, for a grand total of 55 quid between the two of us. It's like kind of had my money's worth out it already. It's also good fun looking up shit on the internet. So I'm now going to be keeping an eye out on Gumtree and shit, because I think the way to buy these things, what we want a lap counter, but they're not expensive. You can get one for like about a tenner delivered or something like that. But it's like you can pick up. You do occasionally see Scalextric sets, especially if they don't have 2 working cars. You can pick up for 20, 30 quid, and if it's got the track thing, and then it's like when it's only got 1 car, suddenly you've got your lap counter worth a tenner, some more bits of track, obviously good, and maybe a car or 2, and it's like, you know, these things all add up. I suppose it's a similar sort of thing with guitars, but it's like we totally did the exact opposite of what I was suggesting in at the start of the video. It's like, yeah, starting off with the most basic thing, you know, 1 car and just a circle, and it's like a bit. So I can kind of see it's the same thing when you're talking about guitars. You know, it's like, hey, buy yourself a Squire Bullet Mustang and an Blackstar ID Core amp. That's all you need. The thing is, but once you're in there, and you start decided that you actually like playing the guitar, you're going to end up having a wee look at other stuff, and you're going to be like, buying, oh, maybe get a Tube Screamer. Oh, well, I've got the Mustang. You know, it's like maybe I should get something with single coils. Maybe get a Strat, and you go, well, don't really have a Les Paul. Maybe I should get like a Gibson, like a Les Paul or something. Then it's like, no, I don't have a Telecaster. Maybe get a Telecaster. I really like jazzmaster. I don't want one of them. You end up with all these things, and it's like, you know, same thing with a Scalextric car. One that works is fine. You can drive it around the track. It's great fun. But having half a dozen that are all slightly different because they all handle differently. It's the same thing with the guitars. This guitar's doing sounds that I don't really have in any of these guitars. So I mean, there you are, justified having it. But also, more just the thought of it. makes a difference. For me, a jazzmaster isn't a guitar that I jump to and go, oh, I know what I'm going to play in that. You know, give me like a 60s SG Junior with P90s in it, I'm straight on the Sabbath, without a doubt, because I know what I want to play on that, or a Telecaster. I'm kind of trying to play Telecaster stuff, whereas I don't really think anyone I'm hugely influenced by musically. I mean, I know Carl Wilson, the Beach Boys used one, but you can't really hear the guitar of the Beach Boys, can you? And when you can, it's Glenn Campbell playing it. So there's not really anybody I can think of that I'm, like I said, it's in my top 10 bands that use these, so maybe that's just why I'm not really that into it. I mean, I suppose you can obviously get into the other thing, like, who uses that? Well, okay, the Damned use that on the young ones, but nobody ever uses that, and nobody uses that as a Strat. I suppose Gary Moore used one of them. That's just a telly, even though it's an FGN one. That's as Alan Holdsworth, I suppose. So, you know, I do appreciate Alan Holdsworth. It's too complicated for me to listen to. But I need the toilet, and I'll do a wee couple of laps in this electric, just stuck on as a wee bonus. Rock on, and I will see you tomorrow. This afternoon I'm going to fit a Fernandez sustainer, so I might video it, or I might video bits of it. I don't know if I'll leave the whole thing on. It's going to take me all afternoon. I want to listen to, got another unboxing to do actually. Oh, thought it was sitting there. It's not sitting here. Oh. It's like, oh, what's in the box? What's in the box? It's a replacement version of the new Baby Metal album. So I can't actually listen to that while I'm doing the wiring if I'm going to video it, because I'll just get copyright problem. So I might run that, and then I'll be in and out. I might have the video sitting there and then maybe record wee snippets of me doing particularly interesting bits, you know, rather than sitting me trying to figure out how to get the battery in, you know, sit and go, I'm going to sit and figure out how to get the battery in, stick it on, spend half an hour gouging to make it fit. Rock on! Need to do some controller work. There is the old track conversion there. That's a new track. Old track. Old power supply. I think look at this. And this car was working, but now it's just decided not to. It kind of builds up to